Hi, it's Maggie the Aries Gypsy here to bring you your November 2021 general reading. We are looking at the first 2 weeks of November, so from the 1st through the 15th, and this reading is for our Rams, the fire sign of Aries. Welcome everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for watching this video, any of the videos on my YouTube channel, and also a note of gratitude for your likes, your shares, subscribing to the channel, donations, feedback, comments, reaching out for personal readings. All welcome, thank you. So this reading is for Aries for the first 2 weeks of November 2021. That's if your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus sign is in Aries. It's relevant if you're cross-watching for an Aries. It is a general reading, so of course it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. Watch all of your signs for additional insight. If you find something resonates with you, you'd like to get a personal reading for yourself or for someone else, take a deeper look at something, you can click on the description link, that little arrow. You'll see my email address come up, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Feel free to email me directly. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and I can usually respond with that information within the same day. And I do readings full time, so I'm pretty diligent about timely scheduling, so message me if you're interested. Okay, Aries, let's see what the first 2 weeks of November look like for you. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. All right, Aries, we begin with the Lovers, a relationship at a crossroads, decisions, choices, either about the relationship or in another area of life that's going to significantly affect the relationship. So likely a relationship reading, or that's a significant aspect of this first 2 weeks of November. With the Five of Wands, some conflict, fighting over the same thing, going over and over again around the same thing. It represents internal conflict and can represent external conflict. This is a relationship that's struggling, that's at a crossroads, and typically the decision is going to make a pretty profound difference in the future of the relationship, or the lack of a future of the relationship. Next we have the Five of Cups. Sorrow, grief, loss, regret. Not all is lost because there's still 2 cups upright and full, but 3 are shattered. Well, and the fact that the Lovers is there next to it, there's no lack of love and caring in this relationship. The Five of Cups is with justice, doing the right thing, the reap what you sow card. You know, which implies that the outcome of something is dependent on your actions. And that's what justice means, right? I mean, that's why we have that saying, justice is blind. It's supposed to be, because it's not supposed to be based on what you intend, what you wish, what you hope, but actually what you do and the choices you make. So there's some regret here and sadness over that, whether it's you or the other person, or both of you. Justice is also about doing the right thing. Somebody may not be doing the right thing. Okay, let's keep going. Next we have the Ten of Cups, the happy home, white picket fence, happily ever after, marriage, childbirth, blessings. Feeling like, you know, tens represent the fulfillment of a suit. So the Ten of Cups is the Ten of Water, the Ten of Emotions, and it's strongly connected to home and family. So this is feeling like everything's finally come together. Home, family, friends, marriage, all of that. With the Hanging Man, waiting, watching, getting a different perspective. Because the Hanging Man hangs upside down from what is traditionally referred to as the tree of life, or the tree of knowledge. It's an uncomfortable position possibly, but it's a position that makes you see things in a different light. Sometimes the Ten of Cups with the Hanging Man can represent someone, whether it's you or the other person, realizes that their emotional fulfillment and happiness is actually dependent on another person. Perhaps, you know, it's obvious that this reading is for Aries that are connected to someone or in a relationship. And it may be, since Aries has a very adventurous and very independent streak, that you may be coming to the realization that this person is far more important and essential to your emotional happiness and fulfillment and well-being than you had really thought before. This is a new perspective, so it can represent that too. Perhaps you wish with this Five of Cups and Justice you'd have seen that earlier. Again, you can reverse this. This could be the other person too in the relationship. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the first 2 weeks of November is the Six of Wands, which is a card of triumph, public recognition, being seen. Let me pull one more. The Nine of Swords, stress, anxiety, worry, sleepless nights. It may be, Aries, that you or the other person, again, you can flip this, what side of the story you're on, may be acting as if everything is just fine, they're great, they don't need anything, they're fine, but underneath they're really stressed out and anxious because of this like choice or crossroads energy here. How do I succeed here? How do I win, right? Or possibly being afraid that this relationship is going to end or turn out in a negative way, and it's going to cancel out that Six of Wands. Because the Six of Wands in a way is also about ego, right? Which we all have one. We all like to be seen and appreciated and feel special and recognized, particularly in a relationship where perhaps you're seen as a power couple, or you're really proud of your partner or something like that. It's all kind of tied up in, is this relationship going to last or not? But on the surface, you might be acting, or the other person might be acting as if everything's just fine. Yeah. A lot of relationship energy for a lot of the signs this time. And of course, not everybody's in a relationship. You can always translate it to some other situation. But sometimes it comes across quite clearly here. And this is. We've got the Lovers, we've got the Ten of Cups. Okay, let's clarify that Six of Wands and Nine of Swords as the overall energy. The Empress, which is interesting because in the tarot, Aries, your sign, the sign of Aries, is attached to the Emperor, and the Empress is the Emperor's natural mate. Can't be with anybody else but each other. Well, they could, but it's like a natural pairing. This, I believe, is the other person in the relationship, or how you see the other person in the relationship. Feminine, beautiful, sensual, abundant, full of, this is a card of fertility. For some of you, it might be literal fertility. It might be that an issue in a marriage is, being able to conceive, or pregnancy, or something of that sort as well. Maybe there's been another disappointment in that. It could be that for some of you. Again, the area of life it resonates in and the intensity will vary in a general reading. We have the Ten of Cups. This usually comes up when someone's feeling overwhelmed. They've been carrying a burden for far too long, or it's become burdensome, and it's time to lay that burden down. The Three of Swords, heartache, heartbreak, separation, breakup sometimes. And the Six of Swords, which is somebody moving away from the source of the conflict in order to have healing. Right. So, someone in this relationship, Aries, I think for many of you it's going to be you, but it could always be the other person, might be acting like everything's fine on the outside, but on the inside there's stress, anxiety, and worry about how the future is going to play out, because they may be afraid that this other person is going to say, look, I can't deal with this anymore, and even though it's going to break my heart, I need to leave in order to get healing, because this isn't working. It might be that this has already happened, or this is happening during the first 2 weeks, and someone's putting a brave face on it, but underneath there's all of this energy about it. Fear of the future, fear that this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to play out. Clarify the Lovers. So the Lovers represents a crossroads, a choice. We have the Two of Wands, a choice, duality. Which path of action do I take? The Two of Pentacles, again. The Eight of Swords, feeling trapped, bound, held back, restricted, but it's mental limitations. This is a card of like your fears and insecurities, or the excuses that somebody gives themselves as to why they can't change a situation or why they can't do anything is more in their head, because Swords is governed by the element of air, which governs our intellectual landscape, everything that goes on in our heads. So swords often represent communication, words, which all originate from here. Our belief systems, our ideologies, our perceptions, how we perceive things, because that affects how we relate and communicate. So the Eight of Swords is somebody who says, oh, I can't do this in the relationship, or I can't do this because of that. We have the Ten of Cups here. I can't get married because I had one horrible marriage already in my past and I never want to repeat that again. I can't leave this unsatisfying job because what if I can't find another one, or I can't find another one that pays as well, so I might as well stay. This is a card of somebody whose own fears and insecurities have hijacked their mind in the form of excuses as to why they can't take action in a situation. And the Queen of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. This is, again, would be the other person here. Clarify the Five of Wands, this conflict. The Ten of Cups. The King of Wands. So we have a King and Queen of Wands here, which is a couple. And if you look at the Empress as the natural mate of the Emperor, which is also your sign attached to, that's the relationship. It's about, for many of you, it may be about marriage. Again, for some of you, because, the Empress can represent fertility, it might be just an ongoing issue with being able to have children. But it's something which affects the happy home. For many of you, it might be about, we've been together this long, why don't we get married? And the other person's like, I can't, or I don't want to because I'm convinced of this, or whatever. Those Eight of Swords can represent a whole ideology of a bunch of different reasons, right? And so around and around the argument, the debates go. And I think one person in this relationship is just getting tired and saying, I'm sorry, this is heartbreaking to me, but this isn't right for me, and I have to do what's right for me, which is probably what this Five of Cups and Justice is. Clarify Five of Cups. Let's do that first. Regret, sorrow, grief, loss. Five of Cups is clarified by the Five of Cups. A lot of regret, sadness. The Page of Swords, messages, news, information, death, final endings, transformations, and the Lovers again. I think this is somebody saying, clarify justice. Look, if this relationship isn't going to be this, then I need to go. I need to leave. This needs to end. I love you. This is heartbreaking, but I can't continue this way. Clarify justice. And based on looking at the Ten of Cups and the Hanging Man, I don't think anything ends definitively, or even if it does, there's a sense of something not being quite completed yet. So I don't think everything's all wrapped up in this 2-week period of time, but it looks like that's where things are headed. But I think there's still more to play out after. Let's clarify justice. Like it's an ongoing situation. It might be, maybe the two of you live together and that's, kind of sticky. Clarify justice in the Ten of Cups twice. Judgment, a major crossroad cards too, very similar to the Lovers. And it represents, there's usually an air of finality about judgment, right? Because judgment is final, right? And it's also, again, based on your actions, not intentions, it's actions. So judgment represents that whatever you choose or don't choose, which is a choice too, the outcome of judgment will be long-lasting, if not permanent. So choose wisely, choose carefully. The World, graduating, leveling up, moving up to the next level. This is what's right. So, on a simplistic level, if this is about marriage, it's showing that this is the right thing to do in this relationship, in this situation. I'm not making any statements about marriage or religions or whatever, but in this particular situation, in this particular relationship, whatever this Ten of Cups, the world, this is moving to the next level, and this relationship is showing to be the right thing to do. And what the other person will be leaving in order to stay in alignment with for them, whether it's you or whether it's them. And the challenging thing here, Aries, and the thing that, it makes me feel emotional pain, is that this is two people who love each other. They have a history. They might even live together, have a home together. But one of them wants this to move forward to this other place, and the other person doesn't, or feels they can't, which is usually about the person's own painful past history, right? And it's preventing them from being able to move forward. Clarify the Ten of Cups. The Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, getting everything you want. The Ace of Cups, new love and romance or emotional renewal, the heart beginning to open up again to wish fulfillment. The Knight of Cups, somebody charging forward to make the offer, an offer of love. On its own, these 4 cards or these 3 cards clarifying the Ten of Cups would represent, but somebody making an offer of marriage, a proposal, or let's get a house together, move in together. The Hanging Man, it feels here like somebody in the face of potential loss or actual loss, like the person saying, I have to go do this. There is this realization of how important this person is, the other person is in the relationship. Like the realization that this person is actually essential to my emotional happiness and well-being in a way that either I didn't see before or I didn't want to see before because I'm afraid of what that would mean, right? I'm not quite so independent. I'm not quite whatever, maybe I'm weak. Some people feel like having this kind of emotional attachment to someone makes them weak, makes them susceptible to being hurt, which they think is a weakness. And that's almost always based on, having been terribly hurt in the past. But it's like, this is like that realization that this person is essential to their happiness and well-being, which may change this moving forward. Who knows? It's going to be different, for everybody. It's a general reading. Let's clarify the Hanging Man. The Eight of Cups, leaving, walking away to find the Nine of Cups, that wish fulfillment. The Five of Pentacles, leaving somebody shut out in the cold. The Magician, the Four of Wands, the Five of Wands. This is somebody leaving something which has turned out not to be what they want and going to, which leaves somebody on the outside, shuts somebody out because they want to go manifest their happy home, their, a marriage. What this feels like for some of you, this is a partner that leaves because you won't come on board with going further, and it's in their leaving or in the wake of their leaving that you realize how important they really are, which is an old common story, right? You never know what you have till it's gone kind of energy. That's kind of what it feels like here. And again, it might be you feeling this way or it might be the other person, it really depends. And that might change the story moving forward, but only if the person who is holding back and refusing to budge actually opens up and is willing to take a chance and move forward. That's the only way this really changes. Or the other person decides to stay, but then they're unhappy, so what's the point? But people do, right? All right, I feel like it should end there, so let's end by pulling any advice, guidance, message cards for Aries for the first 2 weeks of November. Guidance, advice, messages for Aries for the first 2 weeks of November. The Star, renewed, restored hope, faith, and optimism. This is a card that relies solely on walking in faith and trusting that the path that you're on is going to lead to your wish fulfillment. The Moon, even if you can't see it, even if you're afraid. Justice, doing the right thing, doing the equitable thing, the fair thing, balancing the scales. The Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. This feels like stepping out and taking a risk and trusting that it's the right one because it's the right thing to do. This feels like whoever is afraid to move forward because they're afraid of a painful past repeating itself needs to have more trust and faith in spirit, in the person that they're with, and in the relationship itself. Easier said than done. Some may choose to step out in faith and some of you may not. But this is what Spirit is advocating. Because you have a whole new beginning. But you got to kind of step out and take it. Okay, Aries. It's kind of an emotionally intense reading. Aries, those are your messages for the first 2 weeks of November. I hope they were helpful to you. If they were, if any of this resonates with you and you would like to reach out for a personal reading, perhaps take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can click on the description link, that little arrow, which will show you my email address, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me. I'd be delighted to hear from you and most happy to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the November general readings, the November mid-month general readings. So until then, stay safe and well, be blessed out there, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.